Hey, and welcome to the Ambitious Bookkeeper Podcast. I'm Serena Shoup, CPA, a mom of three, and I've been running a virtual bookkeeping business from my home since 2017. You are in the right place if you are a bookkeeper, accountant, or an accounting student, and you believe and know in your heart that your purpose is bigger than sitting in a cubicle. If you're ready to learn some actionable tips and strategies for starting and growing your accounting business, then I hope you stick around. Hey, Kelly, welcome to the Ambitious Bookkeeper Podcast. How are you today?
I'm so excited to talk to you, Serena. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, I'm super excited to have you on. This is airing right after another interview with a fellow mixer minder. So just getting all those knocked out at the same time. But the conversation I feel like is going to flow nicely because we talked about AI in like more human first type AI as well. But before we dive into that whole conversation, would you mind introducing yourself to the audience?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I'm in reinvention number 1 million, whatever, which don't we all go through that with business? I mean, my background has been PR, communications, and marketing for almost 20 years. And I've been running my own business for over 8 now, holy moly. And it's been sort of shifting with the times, learning about online business, still wanting to do a lot of in-person stuff for me in real life, and human connection and relationship building is always really like the strength and the power behind growth and for anybody. But 2025 was just like not on my bingo card at all. I decided, okay, AI is going to play an important role in how things are moving and how I want to operate. And I've always been like the kind of person I've started my business because I want to spend more time with my family. I want to be able to do the kid stuff. I'm a professional mom taxi probably every day from 3 till 7 p.m. or 4 till whatever. And then all weekends long, we're driving all the places to the gymnastics and the hockey and the volleyball practices and singing lessons and all of those things. And that's why I started my business. So when I saw the opportunity for AI to come in and help streamline things and kind of give me some time and space back, I was like, yeah, let's go. And that turned into me becoming an accidental tech nerd and starting an AI company, which I am like, it still feels weird to say that out loud because that's like where things are going. And I realized that there's a lot of aspects of this that we just have to be super intentional about. There are definitely some risks involved with getting into technology in a big way. And I also think it's just another place where we'll start feeling pressure as business owners to create more and do more faster and have more stuff. And like, I'm not here for that. I'm here for using it to support you to be more human, like AI, so that you can human better, doing the things that really you can do well and that are your expertise and that allow you to show up in the best way for yourself and for your clients.
Yeah, I completely resonate with that. And before we hit record, we were chatting about like to social media or not to social media. So I'm sure we're going to get into that. But yeah, I've had like a love-hate relationship with AI because of that whole like feeling like, oh, you need to use it to do more, and like plugging it into areas of my business where it's not actually helping that much. And so I wanted to, this is ending up being like a little mini AI series with the interviews I've been doing, but like I feel like people are the big hype is kind of over, and now people are starting to like, okay, now where should we actually be like using this, and how do we keep the human touch, because we know that that's the one thing that AI can't take from us. So yeah, I'm really excited to dive into this with you.
Yeah, I just finished writing an email series where I'm like making my predictions for 2026, and I'm calling it, it's the year of the bot. But it's about really knowing how to integrate that in a way that's supportive. And what
Yeah.
is the best way to do it? Like, do we need to be making 6,000 social media posts, or can we use it to help leverage higher value opportunities that help us grow?
Yeah.
The answer is that.
Yeah. And then there's like a lot of companies have already implemented it as like their help teams and like laid people off, and customers are getting upset. So it's like, I don't think that's the right move to just go completely all in. So interested to hear your take on that. But yeah, so you have a marketing background. And so I think originally we were going to talk about like using AI in a visibility strategy, which might open the door to that social media conversation.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
so for anyone listening, Kelly is the host of Entrepreneur School, the podcast. And if you've listened to any of her episodes in the past like few months, you've talked a lot about how you took off for the summer off of social media. So go ahead and like give us a little like background of how that came about and then what you found the results to be.
Yeah. So, first of all, I have been having conversations with people and clients for the entirety of my business around using social media. And there's just this feeling among people that it's a requirement, right? We have to be there. You have to. And I actually like remember when social media first came out, it was after I finished university. And we actually spent time then trying to convince our corporate clients that they needed, a presence online. And I think that's really where the debate is like, what is an online presence versus what is the need to be on social media actually mean? And
Mm.
I was on a panel last year with a social media manager, and we had a really interesting debate about this because I think for some businesses, it's more important than others. But if
Mm.
you are a service provider, if you sell your knowledge and your skills, you're selling your own brain, what you really need to do is position yourself as a thought leader. What you really need to do is be able to create trusting relationships, especially in the bookkeeping industry. Like you're, I'm never getting rid of my bookkeeper. She knows everything, every bad decision I've ever made, all of the stuff, right? Like it's vulnerable, this relationship that we're establishing. So we need to really show and create that connection with people that we are the right person for them, right? As far as like you as a bookkeeper, you as a service provider. So what does that mean for social media? Does it mean that you need to be there all of the time? Does it mean that you just need to show a little bit of your personality and have it be like, I look at it as, I've always looked at it as a nurturing area. It's a
Mhm.
place where people found me somewhere else and now we're connected on social media. Like
Yeah.
pretty much nobody is finding me because of social media. I think that's an important thing to analyze for yourself. And if you're not the kind of business that's growing because people are finding you in the Explore feed or your stuff is being shared constantly because of the kind of content that it is, and you don't want to make that kind of content, then that's like the first step to be able to make that decision. And so since I knew that, I'm like, social media is a nurture place. I like it for connecting with people in the DMs, having conversations. I mostly like it for collaborations. So like
Mhm.
I want to, share that I'm on this podcast, share a behind the scenes picture of it. Don't forget to making sure we take one of those because
I know.
I'm
I
still
always
not even
forget. Just
the
screenshot
habit
it.
the habit has shifted since I took the summer off of social media. I was like, I'm going to do this as an experiment because I'm always talking about this. People are always asking, and I've kind of built my position as a visibility strategist to help my clients to create visibility in ways that don't rely on social media. So I think it's really important that when we're trying different marketing strategies, which there's gazillions of, and all of them work and also all of them don't work. One of the
Yeah.
most important things is that we're aligned. It feels good to do this. I love podcasting. I will podcast all day. Give me a microphone, give me a stage, like that's where I want to be. I do not
Mhm.
want to be writing a social media caption or figuring out whether I should do a video or remembering to take B-roll when I go to some event because it just isn't aligned for me. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna not do it for the whole summer, taking the summer off. And I posted a picture of me at the lake, was like, summer off social, see you in September. And I barely even came back in September, to be honest. So what it has meant was I started reading a Kindle. I replaced my habit. I have to acknowledge that. It to remove the habit of picking up your phone and scrolling and replacing it with something else. That was what I did. I read like 8 books this summer because of that. I had the best summer financially in my business in several years, in like 4 years, because I think I was just more aligned, and that whole energy shift that comes with that, right? Like having had just done some other things like speaking in person. I was at a big women in business conference as a speaker in May, which led to several private clients. I just leaned into connecting with people in my email list and doing some things like that. And just another acknowledgement is I didn't take the summer off of visibility. I took the summer off of social media. I still did all the other things that I would normally do, like participate in bundles, book speaking opportunities, have connection calls with people to create collaborations. I also planned my own bundle that I hosted in September. So I was just more focused on doing those kinds of things. And that was incredibly more successful, felt better, and was more profitable than
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. I told you this before we hit record, but I did something similar. And if you're listening, you've probably already seen this in my newsletters and things, but I took fall break off of social media. That was pretty much, I didn't make an announcement or anything. I just one day I was like, I'm just deleting the app off my phone, going to spend the fall break with my kids and focus on them. And then the end of fall break came along and I checked my DMs through ManyChat. So I just still didn't add it back to my computer or my phone. And I was like, let me just see if there's any important messages. And there was like one important message. The rest of them were just spam. And so I was like, okay, I can actually just check messages on ManyChat and make sure all of my automations are firing. And we do still, like, I have the team that schedules the podcast clips on social media, but that's all we're doing. I wasn't on stories or anything like that, but that's part of our visibility strategy. So, but it's not like me physically on the app.
Yeah, and I think that that's also important. Like you're using it as a leverage to repurpose other things. And I think that's exactly how it should be used. I do the same thing. Most of the content that I share is just my podcast related stuff. And if I'm like participating in a summit or a bundle or some kind of collaboration and I want to connect with the other person through social media, that's what I'm doing that for. I'm not ever making something that just goes on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I went through fall break, checked my messages. Nothing really was that important. And the one message that was, I just answered them. And then I set up a new automation that just fires off a message anytime someone DMs me, like outside of a normal ManyChat automation. And that was like, I'm taking a break from social media. The response is going to be delayed. So they've already expected, like, if they need to get a hold of me, they can figure out how else. Go listen to the podcast, go to the YouTube channel. Otherwise, I'll reply to your message in like within the next week or something.
Or send me an email like a normal person trying to reach a person.
Yeah. So anyone who's actually a customer or wants to work with me, they'll figure out how other than a DM, but I still haven't added it back to my phone. And like you said, I've been reading more, I've been journaling, I've been doing crafting and all sorts of stuff that I didn't have time for before. And I don't miss the social media scroll at all. Like, yes, I'm kind of out of touch with some things going on in the world, but everything has you win some, you lose some.
Oh, it's yeah, yes, 100%. And I think it's important I think we have it kind of hyped up in our heads what the risk is if we get off of this. Like I've had people talk to me who only have like 100 followers and they're worried about what happens if I get off social media. It's like no one will notice, like actually.
No.
And I'm not saying that to be rude. It's just like it's performative. It's what I call performative marketing, where we're doing something for the sake of feeling like we're doing something.
Yeah.
And what we really need to focus on are things that have higher ROI. So knowing what that is for your business, what is actually getting you leads, what is actually getting you in front of the better fit clients, growing your email list, doing those strategic things,
Mhm.
that's what we need to be spending time on. I actually built an AI tool that helps you like audit this. Her name's Valerie, the visibility auditor, and you can keep track because part of it is building a habit, right? Like it's all in our head a little bit around we have to be on social media. So, I'm going to post, I'm going to post, I'm going to post, and you just look back and go, oh, I haven't posted at all this week or something. And that's your entire assessment, whether or not you've done something for visibility. But there's tons of other options. Like Valerie has like 35 baked in strategic moves that you can make for your
Yeah.
visibility strategy. And actually, I have a gift I'll give you as well. Whether I might be giving you lots of gifts by the end of this conversation, but just to help you to make decisions about what to actually do, because that might mean like having a coffee chat with somebody and actually like booking a collaboration, doing an email list swap, being part of a bundle, being part of an online event or a summit, being in real life, going to a networking event, like all of these things, just emailing a past client or somebody that you really like want to connect with. Those things are way more strategic than posting on social media, have way more impact on your business and the end goal of actually getting leads so you can get clients so that you can have more impact with what you do.
Yeah. Absolutely. And my final note on taking the break, which I told you before, was I'm still not on social media, and I've sent in that time frame I booked 3 new clients. So it's not that it was pointless to like have social media, but it's not what was bringing me clients. It
Yeah,
was more of a nurturing tool. So
yeah, and I can take the pressure off, right?
yeah,
To know that the reality for you, like what is the reality of the role of social media in your own business? Do that assessment.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So the for building in AI to the visibility, so you have the visibility tool, Valerie, right?
Yes, I know all of my I can hardly keep track. I have so many now, and they all have lady names and
Love it.
alliteration and fun, cute little avatar pictures. So
That's awesome. So it sounds like you've built like a suite of little tools to help. Is it with just visibility or other marketing and other pieces of your business?
oh, well, that's a very big question. I use AI in almost everything that I do. I now have switched gears. I realized over the last year that I switched the way I think entirely so that I access how can AI support me with this first
Mhm.
instead of looking at it like how can AI like polish this or it maybe add to this or review this for me. So I think that that's the main thing that I've done overall. And so I use it for every piece of my podcast, my communications and marketing materials. I know that kind of what my philosophy on visibility is that it has to become a habit. So these things that you do that are strategic, they should take you less than 10 minutes a day and they can have huge impact. But a lot of these things, they take a long time. Like how many times do we reschedule this podcast interview, right? No, but that's just the reality of it. So you're not like getting on a podcast every day unless for months in advance you've been reaching out and connecting with podcast hosts all the time. And then
Yeah.
in order to actually get on that podcast, what do you need? You need your bio. You need a description of whatever free gift you might be giving away. You need that all set up. And all those things can be supported by AI as well so that everything is at your fingertips and ready to make that podcast pitch just as easy and quick for you as what you think would take you for a social media post. So that's where you really are like leveraging it and choosing like the things that maybe felt harder or like a bigger reach are now just as simple for you to achieve as the things that you thought were low hanging fruit and quick,
Mhm.
which I mean, I
Yeah.
have opinions on that too. Back to the social media thing. Have you ever posted on social media, had it not take you at least 45 minutes? By the time that you post it and format it and get a picture and then engage with people and find the music, and then you're scrolling and then you've lost 45 minutes. It is.
Yeah, it's quite the time suck for sure. And it used to be fun for me, and then somewhere along the way it stopped being fun.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I love that you're positioning, like looking at things as far as like how can AI support you from on the front end instead of like on the back end. So does that mean you are then going in at the end and polishing it with the human touch?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
100%. And for me, I have like control issues over that for sure. Like I'm not giving anything away that is like automatically being sent out or anything like that, because I feel like this is where I want to make sure that human is involved. And so a couple of things to note here. One, you have to train your AI. I have a tool now called Brand Calibrator. This is, other people call this a brand book or, your brand guidelines or whatnot, but it's a deep dive assessment on the way that you communicate, not just your language and your voice and your brand tone and style, which is important, but also a really deep understanding of who your audience is so that everything that you're speaking about is really resonant with the people who are reading it. And then also your personality, because that needs to come through. That's often one of the most important things in distinguishing your own personal brand is the way that you show up, like your fun quirks or however you are that make people connect with you. Because there's a million bookkeepers out there that are doing the same thing, but why does somebody want to hire you specifically? And that all comes into it. So having that clarity and also that like document, that brand DNA, I call it brand calibrator, is one of the most important things for using AI effectively. This is why I'm able to be the last point of contact with it, kind of, rather than flipping it the other way and just making it like a polishing engine. I wanted to produce something that's like 80 to 90% effective right out of the gate. So with Brand Calibrator, it can do that. And so having the clarity around that and then, knowing what the task is that you want it to take, that's the other piece. And when you fuse those two together, you're really getting AI to work for you effectively. I also wanted to talk about kind of the topic of monetization with AI, because that's definitely an opportunity. It's like, how can we use AI to make us more money? And that doesn't have to be limited to just selling an AI tool. Like at first, that's what I was doing. I was like, ooh, I'll build these tools. I'll build Valerie. I built Brand Calibrator. Her name's Brenda. That's my mom's name. and and then I'll give those to my clients, because that was actually what unlocked for me is as a service provider, someone who provides strategy. I was like, oh my gosh, AI is the bridge between the strategy I create and their ability to implement it. Right. So now I can give them tools to help them implement these things. So if we build out a visibility strategy and we talk about you getting on podcasts, then maybe you need a bot that optimizes your bio. You need a podcast pitching assistant. You need a podcast topic idea planner person, bot. Those are the kinds of tools that you need to implement the strategy you have. And that's what's really exciting. That connects the dots between what you're offering and the success your clients ultimately have. And so there's probably a lot of opportunities to do that in the bookkeeping space as well, and AI tools to help, support that you would give to clients to help them do a task. The other two areas, which I don't think people think about this when it comes to monetization, are your operational efficiency. So especially when you're in client service, like as a service provider, you only have so much time. And ultimately, your time is what is making you money. So how do you get more of it back? How do you use AI to help you with administration, with content creation or repurposing, so you're not spending so much time doing that? Research, maybe. keeping up to date on like news and advancements. Maybe you have to follow like CPA news, right? And have that distilled, and you don't have time to go and read, but you know all these sources that you like, and you want to filter that all together and have like a weekly report that you review, which you then put into something like Notebook LM, and it reads you a podcast version of the notes that you got. Like so many things can be happening there. And
Oh,
then
wow.
the third, so we've got operational efficiency, we've got the productization of AI tools for monetization, and then the other one is enhancing client delivery. So what can you be doing that's kind of like an extension of you that you're using behind the scenes to make your clients have a bigger win or get something faster or really like enhance or improve what you're doing. I can give you an example of that because the whole thing about visibility strategies, that came from what I used to do when I worked in a PR firm where we did bill for every 15 minutes of our time, talk about PTSD and time management and issues with valuing yourself and how much time some things are taking, which is a whole other piece around a mindset shift for AI. But it would take me 20 hours. Like we would bill about 20 hours for a plan. And all the client got was the plan, right? And like a meeting to talk about it. And
Wow.
now I build that plan in under 2 hours with my AI bot or my AI tools. And I deliver it to my client before I even talk to them. So I created an AI onboarding assistant that is interactive and goes and gets all of the information that I need from my client in a better way than a Google form, like a more fun and expansive experience. I collect that information, I build the plan, I give it to them, and now we can have a more detailed, nuanced conversation. They get me coming with more capacity, with more brain power to speak to some of the details and like get a better result for them. So that's what I mean by like enhancing client delivery, like a big win. And it just gives you more space to do better at what you human do. Right. So
Yeah.
this is where like in the end, all of these pieces, they allow you to human more, do the things that really can't be done by the bots, and let the bots do the rest.
Yeah. I love that. There's so many ways that I'm sure a lot of bookkeepers are probably thinking of ways that they could use it to like make their operations more efficient, but maybe not. It's something that I'm constantly reevaluating. I'm going through a big project right now, kind of like revamping whatever we can to automate things. And we use a lot of Zapier. So like building that in with AI type of stuff. It's been fun. But yeah, wherever we can get more efficient, obviously that's going to help things. But also on the like advising side, being able to like use AI to strategize with you and bring things to like when you don't have a teammate to bounce ideas off of. It's really
Yes.
good to be able to have that. And often a lot of times I'll pop like things into ChatGPT or whatever and like ask it what would how would you advise this client on blah blah blah, and most of the time it's stuff I would have already come up with, but it's nice to be like validated as well.
Yes, and ChatGPT tends to be very validating. It's kind of its
Yes.
programming, but you could build a bot that was like Serena duplicated, that was trained specifically on your approach and the way that
Yeah.
you like the top, strategies that you like to deploy, and
Yeah.
also with your brand voice and all of those pieces, so that when you're conversing with it, it's really like a co-CEO for you.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so that
Especially
could
being
be
able to train
internally.
it on like a
Mhm,
certain industry or like
mhm.
whatever if you're niche. But yeah, have barely dipped my toe into that. So
Yeah, and I think it's exciting that I think this is just it. Like where we're at right now, we're recording this in November 2025. The trend is that it's not a trend anymore. Like it's not a fad, it's not going away. So it's time to figure out how to get on board and integrate this and ask all the questions. Like the questions that I'm hearing from people are, how do I, do this in an ethical way that feels right for me and values aligned, and that I'm not like cheating and I'm not, giving up my everything that I worked for, all of my skills, the years of experience, and handing it over to a bot. It's just a shift in your own mindset to really approach this from a way that says that you can. You don't need to let AI replace you. That's not the goal. It's allowing it to enhance you. So, right? Because like if you are a full cup and you pour all of that cup into like messing around doing admin stuff, and then you're supposed to have like a strategy conversation with a client and you're fully depleted at that point, then you're not going to be showing up for your client in the way that you want to.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where we can really lean on these tools and bringing AI adoption into your business in 2026. It's time.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that a lot of bookkeepers are fearing and being told, unfortunately, by people, whether it's in the industry or outside, it's like bookkeeping seems to be one of those things that is like, AI is coming for your job. We're going to be obsolete. And so I'm curious from your perspective as a business owner, if that's how you feel about the bookkeeping profession, because I feel like we all get into this echo chamber in our own industries, right? And so we continue to be fed the same information from various sources within our industry. And so since you're a business owner and not a bookkeeper, I'm curious to hear your perspective on that and what you're seeing, what you've experienced, because you said you have a bookkeeper. I'm not sure if you're on QuickBooks Online or something else, but all these tools are also building in AI. So
And I don't touch any of them myself. Like the reason I have a bookkeeper is because I don't want to do any of it ever. Like I want to hand her the pile of receipts and that's it. Like, or, forward things to an email address that she organizes and everything. I think, what I would say to that comment is, overall, with respect to any industry, bookkeeping or any other industry, it just shifts what you need to do in order to show your value.
Yeah.
Right. So if you now have access to AI tools that are doing things faster and automated and for you, then what do you get to do now that you have time for? That is not what your client was paying you for before. Right? Like what's the new win or the way that you can like add an extra human layer? Because I think that that's actually an expectation shift that's going to happen. Right? We were in an age where we just thought, done for you, everything, like whatever, or like I can do it myself. That's great. I've got this tool. But I think that with more AI and more online, people are going to crave more human connection. So I think that we're going to move into an era where we're providing done for you stuff and more one-on-one or like more immersive experiences as far as our offers go.
Yeah. I agree with that. I just like to hear it from business owner perspectives because there are still business owners out there. This happened I had a conversation on Threads where I had posted something about like creating an offer where we're delivering financial results within 5 days after the close of a business, which is actually really, really fast compared to most bookkeeping businesses. Usually it's like 15 to 20 days after the end of the month. But I was like, what if we created an offer where we give you the results like so much faster so you can make better, faster decisions? And a business owner commented like, why would I pay you to do this when AI can do it for me? And it's like, well, because AI is not perfect and it's not going to be accurate, but they might be able to do it for you. We haven't seen 100% accuracy with the AI yet. So at the very least,
really, such a good distinction. And this is a thing that people who are just AI users don't necessarily get. We think that AI should just know everything, but there is a huge difference between AI and bookkeeper backed AI, lawyer backed AI, marketing strategist backed AI. Like everything that AI knows is trained from like the internet and things that people put out there, but your own individual approach and strategy that is different for you, you're using AI and you know what the outcome should be. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's the difference is when you put something through, if you ask the AI the same question that I did, you would know whether or not it was actually correct,
Yeah.
accurate, or whether you'd want to reframe it in a certain way, right? Like when I ask for help building a visibility strategy, which you could do, yours would say, go do these things. And you'd be like, huh, that sounds pretty good. And probably is. But my approach would be to, nuance this and ensure that messaging and make sure that like it aligns with these goals, like has all these cross-reference checkpoints in it, that's
Mhm.
not generic. Like that's my lens on it, right? And the
Yeah.
same with bookkeepers. You put your lens on it because you have your expertise and your experience. There's a huge difference between generic AI and AI that is built by or used with somebody who has a particular expertise.
Yeah. It's just it's sparking questions for me. Like, I wonder what QuickBooks is using to train AI. Is it they're using the current bookkeeping that's being done in their software by bookkeepers and business owners? Because that's why they're probably getting inaccuracies because business owners don't have the same training that we do. And then there's also bookkeepers in there doing bookkeeping that shouldn't be. And so their stuff is inaccurate as well. So, like, what is their AI even being trained on? And is that why it's not perfect? Like
Yep.
all these questions.
It is this whole evolution. Like it's still pretty new. Like Gen AI only came onto the scene as we're speaking just 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And so everything, and it's changed and evolved so much in that time in terms of people's awareness of it, its own effectiveness, how LLMs work, what different ones have come onto the scene as competition, all of those things. Like, so really, like, it's what's interesting about it is, and I'm working with a software developer right now because we're building our own AI platform. And he says, like, in his experience building software, you build software and then it either works or it doesn't work. Like, it's pretty black or white. You know what it's supposed to do. When you're
Yeah.
building with Gen AI, it has interpretation, it has anticipation, it has like recommendations. It's trying to anticipate what you want to do next all the time. So thinking about how to program that it's a whole different way of using your brain. It's
Yeah.
wild. Super fun, but it's wild.
Yeah. That's like a real, I don't want to swear, but like that's a real mind
Yeah.
to be like, okay,
You
if
know what
the
you're
thing
thinking.
is going to anticipate, I have to anticipate what it's going to anticipate.
Totally. Yes, like to the point that I've gotten, okay, you're not supposed to do this. Like your job is to stay in this box, basically. Like I want you
Yeah.
to be really good at this box that you're in, not anticipating other things. So it's, taught me how to build custom GPTs with specific guardrails that prevent like scope creep. Like we
Yeah.
don't want to go down that road, especially if you're giving something away. Like if you're building an AI tool for a client, you don't want it to start making certain recommendations, especially in like, giving advice around what's a write-off or tax strategies or stuff like that. Like that would
Mhm.
be, I'd be really cautious about that in your industry for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I did build a custom bot in MindPal because you can like put it behind a paywall and like basically give it the information you want it to actually use to
Yeah.
give information just to help like file 1099. So it's like one tiny little scope of things and like it's reading the IRS instructions and basing the stuff off of that. So that was an interesting little experiment. But yeah, so we'll see what happens whenever I put in the New Year's regulations and how well it does. But
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you have to test these things regularly
Yeah.
to know that they're still working, because that's the other thing is like a software, you would build it and it would just work. This is like now there's a new version of ChatGPT every few
Oh,
months.
rogue.
And now it thinks it's trying to be smarter, but sometimes when it's trying to be smarter, it's like it's lost all of the personality that I tried to infuse into it. Like my brand Calibrator is a very complex custom GPT at this point until I transfer it over into my platform, which will be ready in a couple of months. But I need to make sure that it like I want it to be an experience like it's interacting with me, like people are interacting with me. Like I basically took my entire brand strategy process from a VIP day and put it into a bot. So I don't want it to be cold. I don't want it to be short.
Yeah.
I want it to like have reflective responses. And like how do you program that and ensure that that's happening when on the back end people are like, we're tired of ChatGPT being a cheerleader. And I'm like, I want it to be a cheerleader in this context, right?
Yeah.
And allow it to do that. So I have to go back and check and test and make sure that those things keep working. And when you're handing over your own reputation a bit to a bot, yeah, it's a murky little pool that we're in.
Yeah, it sure is. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. If someone wants to get their hands on the bots that you've been building and get into your world, where is the best place for them to go?
Yes. So come to my website, ksco.ca, ksco.ca, and everything that I build and share will be linked from there. But I'm happy to also provide, since we were talking about visibility strategy and the bots that I created for that, I have a 90-day visibility sprint starter kit that has an AI tool built into it and gives you a special offer if you want to buy Valerie on the back end of that to help you just planning and mapping out and deciding what strategic visibility moves to make. So I'll give you a special link for that, Serena, for your listeners. And yeah, I'd love to have you come and check out the Entrepreneur School podcast, where we are talking about all things being an entrepreneur, the strategies, the mindsets, the running a business and a life and being a mom and all of that stuff, and a lot more lately AI things, because that's where my business is going in 2026.
Yeah, exciting. Yes, definitely recommend listening to the podcast. And we will link all of these resources in the show notes for you all. Thank you again, Kelly, so much for joining me. And we'll talk to you soon. Thank you to everyone who helps make this podcast possible. Content and interviews are produced by me, Serena Shoup. Our intro and outro music is written and performed by my brother, Ian Gilliam. Editing is also by Ian, using his awesome sound engineering skills along with Descript software. Hosting and publishing is by Buzzsprout, and you can check out the show notes for links to all of these amazing resources and resources mentioned in the episode.
Be ambitious.